Madam Chair, we're live.
Thank you. Today is May 13th, 2025, and the time is 5:13 p.m. I'm calling to order the Baldwin Park Stakeholders Oversight Committee regular meeting. Pastor Jackson, can you please lead us in an invocation?
Heavenly Father, we come before you right now in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and giving you praise, glory, and honor and thanksgiving, Lord. We need your divine direction in helping us to make the decisions that we need to betterment this city and dealing with our youth, seeing all these youth sitting out here, that your mighty hand will be upon you, on them. And we just thank you and bless them. In the name of Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. And now if I can get everyone to please stand up, face the flag, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I'm happy to say that we will be opening our meeting this evening with presentations for our community empowerment grant recipients. So if I can,
Chair.
yes, no, the roll call. See, I got too excited. My gosh. Can I please get a roll call?
Chair Lara,
Here.
Vice Chair Jackson,
Here.
Member Hernandez,
Here.
Member Marta Cárcamo,
Here.
Member Orozco,
Here.
Member Rodriguez,
Here.
Member Nguyen.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. Okay, not to get to the fun part again. So we will be issuing the Community Empowerment Grant Recipient Award. So if I can have my colleagues join me in the front. If I can get it. Enter America Red Devils, if you can please come up.
Oh, there's Maria.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I have a check for $4,310 for the Inter-America Red Devils. Thank you to the coaches and to our kids that are out there enjoying sport. Yeah. Yeah. Down there? Okay. I'm gonna go to the front.
Yeah.
So next, if I can get the Baldwin Park Youth Athletic Roadrunners to come up. So while they're getting organized, we're presenting them with a check for $4,450.
Spot. Right here, right next to Rudy. Across, we'll do this. Right over here.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I know. More, no, one more.
No, no.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah, it's right now.
Next. Oh.
Who didn't come? Oh, East Side.
Yeah.
So we did have a third recipient, but they could not be here today, but it was the Baldwin Park East Side Little League. So hopefully we can see them at our next meeting. Okay. Now we will move on to public communications. Chief Deputy City Clerk Quinones, is there anybody that was looking to speak?
I haven't received any cards.
Okay. Is there anybody else that's looking to speak that it did not fill out a speaker card? You can please come up to the podium and do so at this time. No? Okay. Seeing none, then, oh, we do? Oh, okay.
Excuse me, could you check to make sure that the microphone is turned on?
I mean, now the mic.
Like I was saying, president for 50 years. The things that we had on the taxes that we're spending for the city, I don't see anything doing for the enhancement of the city. It's good that we're giving money to young kids, you know. I was involved with the road runners for many years. I've been involved with the Little Leagues for many years too, which is good. I know we're looking for the complex that we're supposed to be getting, according to Enrique. And one of the things that I haven't seen, no enhancement for the city, for the neighborhood. You know, I'd asked for the past, I would say, 6 years, a speed bump at the Walnut Creek Park to go out of there. I talked to some engineers and they told me it runs around $3,000, what we can use from the money that we have right there. Okay. We're buying trucks, we're buying tractors, everything is going toward the police department, which I don't have a problem with it, but let's enhance the city. The bus stops for the city that we have, they need awnings and everything for the hot days and the rainy days and stuff like that. I still haven't seen anything like that, you know. Everything just seems like for public works, for the you know, for police department, stuff like that. We need to start looking at other things other than spending for park rangers or whatever you guys want to call them. Let's look at that later on during, you know, for the next couple of years, not right now. Let's enhance the city. Okay, so that's one of the things, you know. I've asked at Walnut Creek them to put a varnish to the areas right there, the wood and stuff like that. They haven't done it. They haven't done anything. We're supposed to have 7 employees taking care of buildings, and now we're just down to 1 employee. You know, and that's something's happening that the city's not being run right now, and we have to look at it. You know, you guys are the ones that are recommending for us to do things. Like I said, you know, what we're doing with these young girls and young men is beautiful. We do need that. So that, you know, before we vote over anything to buy some more equipment for the police department or for park rangers, whatever you guys want to say, you know, let's look at other things other than this. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we proceed, we're going to go ahead and pause a few minutes and then we'll proceed with public comment. Okay, we will now resume our meeting. Is there anybody else that is wishing to speak? Please come up to the podium.
Greg Tuttle. I like what you guys did this afternoon. That's what you guys are here for the community. Now, back to the real business here of the police thing here. This is totally absurd. You've already given police cars away. You've already given away police radios. You're already given away a tractor. You're already given away a pickup truck for the city yard. I don't know when this stops, you know? And you guys did a good job because you stopped the thing and not voting on it at the last time because you wanted to see what it was to pay for the cars instead of leasing. That's very smart. It's stupid to lease cars. It's better to buy. But spending $500,000 on this, and it's a continual thing, not just 25, 26. They want you to continue on and keep donating to this and pay for it. Now, there's no crime reports that I have seen or statistics shows that the parks need to be watched. The plazas need to be watched. We don't have any high crimes. I don't see any of these reports in here. I don't see anything whether it shows these are going to be real police officers. I've never seen anybody arrested in a police truck. Why are we using trucks and not using efficient cars to go around if this thing was ever done? But this is a bad plan put together to get money, $500,000. You could do a private security company to come in and do different things that you wanted, maybe cruise the parks or do whatever. You can hire a private security guards to come in and do that. And the Park and Recs used to do that. But to come in here and take funds from the community that this tax money was donated for community use, not for police use. I'm all for the police. I support them 100%. But this is misusing this fund. And if the city can't afford it, then that means you should not be the one that has to pay for this. The city has financial troubles because they're mismanaged. They lost 3 directors and they lost a city manager going too. Now, that's what I call mismanagement from the top. Okay? You can't be the ones doing the funding afterwards. And then to continually to pay for it, that's not right. And these officers, when does the hours? They don't show the hours. They show no plan. Just give me money. Where's the plan that these officers, what hours are they going to work? Are they going to do like code enforcement, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday through Sunday? Everybody violates the laws on the codes, selling flowers or whatever on the street. No, this isn't right. And to pay for officers, why are we adding more employees when we have a city that's in a deficit? What we need to do is hire outside. We don't have to control and have these people and pay increased wages. Now, that doesn't say how much the increased wages are going to be when you get done, because then the wages are going to increase each year, yearly. So if you read this plan clearly, it's a joke and you guys are going to be hung for it. And it's not a good plan. And I want you to use this money for the community. We need to save it up for the sports center and get the sports center going and move along.
Thank you,
Need to
Mr.
save
Tuttle.
the money. Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Seeing no one, we'll move to close public communications and we'll move on to new business. Item 1, request for Measure BP funding, community service officer positions.
Madam Chair, as we get into item number 1, I want to do an introduction. The folks here at for staff, you may recognize a new face, or you may see a new face, not yet recognize the new face, but see a new face, and that's our Director of Public Works. He was taking notes when Mr. Rios was speaking about the speed bump. So, we now are happy to have someone in that department that can see through requests like that, Mr. Rios. You want to introduce yourself briefly, Daniel?
Thank you, Enrique. Yes, my name is Daniel Padilla. I'm the new Public Works Director. Very happy to be here. I'm looking forward to working with the community, working with you. I have Doing the math here, about 25 years of public works engineering experience, and I'm happy to be here and hopefully, improve the Baldwin Park community. Thank you very much.
Very, very good. Mr. Rios needs no introduction. I'll tell them all the location, but Mr. Rios, Daniel will follow up with you. Yes, so item number one, Madam Chair and members of the SOC committee, is a continuation from the last meeting. As you recall, it was the introduction of the request by the police department, request for funding for a CSO package. We call it the CSO package, and it got a little confusing with the CSO and the core team being intermixed. So you direct us to do a number of things. To one, ascertain whether the purchase or the lease would be a better option for the city financially. And assuming that the operational aspects of the comparison would be the same, then it would come down to a financial consideration. So we've done that. You wanted us to be clear as to which program we were talking about as we listed the cost. In the previous version of the report, we had mixed the core and the CSO. We separated all those costs out. Now we have grouped only the CSO package and then the core package as two separate things, and you have the two subtotals. In going to the purchase, the one-time outlay at the up the front end went up because now we're purchasing as opposed to paying a yearly outlay. But yes, the purchase now with the new economic conditions in the market, the purchase makes more sense. Financially, it saves the city money. Of course, whatever the policy of retaining a car ends up being, you're usually a vehicle with high mileage, 5 years, 7 years, and then you're supposed to replace it. But here, because we take such good care of our cars from the users, in this case, the officers or any one of the departments, we tend to keep cars around for a long time. And so purchasing and keeping them under our ownership makes the most sense. So the request now has been made specific for the funding to be used for the outright purchase of the vehicles. The total now has gone up to $492,250, which includes a 10% contingency. And in fact, Madam Clerk, I want to make sure that we had not only done one revision, which is the one that we put on the agenda, but then we have a new revision. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a new revision that was placed on your chairs, and it's been posted on the website earlier today also.
So that would be report revision number 2. So that's the one that is to be on the record. Thanks to our finance department, they triple checked those figures, and we needed to revise. So let me see. Can you read the revised version, Madam Chair, Madam Clerk?
Could you hear me? Okay. The total amount was revised to $607,372. And that being that the benefits for the CSO was incorrect the first time. It should be $156,086. Is that correct, Albert?
Yes, that's correct.
And it was the amount of the benefits, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So the amount changes all the figures, including the 10% contingency.
So I read the total amount from the report that was published in last Thursday. So the correct revised amount is what you just read, which is 607,372.
Enrique, I have a clarifying question. So on page 2 of the revised document, at the top, it says, so yes, the 607,372, but if you look at item number 2 above, I guess I'm just trying to understand, it says approved 302,750 per year. So I'm not understanding. Because then dollar requested is 607 for 25-26.
The approver, the number 2 should be just the salary and the benefits.
Oh, and then you're in,
To continue. Is that,
does my question make sense?
yeah, because number 1 is like the first year. And then number 2 is the years going forward.
Still confused.
This is the 2 is.
Those two?
Salary and the.
Oh,
The salary and at those that.
got it. So it excludes,
Everything else, the uniforms.
it's not included in that.
The uniforms won't be yearly. Am I correct?
Okay,
The,
got it.
and then the graphics to the car or the aftermarket accessories that need to be on the vehicles, like the name and the logos, that's not a yearly.
So the 607, it's because there's initial costs involved, but then ongoing, it's less,
Right.
right?
Just
Got it.
makes the upfront the upfront outlay be larger because you're paying for the entire cost of the trucks, whereas in the previous staff report, we had the lease model. And so that would only have shown the annual outlay for that year.
Okay.
And then the other 5 years thereafter would be recurring. Whereas here, it's only a one-time.
Any questions? I don't think they updated that. Yeah. Oh. That's it.
The 156, it has 25,679 benefits. That's incorrect.
Yeah.
That's why it's not in red.
Whatever half of that is, right?
I mentioned earlier the upside, and thank you for directing us to look at the outright purchase. In all likelihood, these trucks we will keep for 10 years. So, that's it's amortized over a 10-year lifespan. It's much better.
Enriquez, I wasn't here last meeting, and these customer service officers are for what?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
there's the chief.
Yes, sir. They're community service officers. They will be assigned to the parks. Part of their other duties will also be to assist our patrol officers as well, to take emergency calls or non-emergency reports. So that it allows the officers to be also out in the field and doing proactive police work. The CSOs will work. We probably from 10 to two staggered shifts from 10 to 6, and then the other officer will work a little later so that we have a little bit more coverage at the parks. And then we have to establish the hours for them, just looking at the calls for service at the parks and also for the calls for service within the city as well. So that again, they will be part of the police department. They will have arrest powers as well, so that if you have a outside security company, we'll still have to handle the arrestees. We'll have to assume the arrest, and we'll have to make sure that the arrest is lawful and within the policy of the department. So it's cost effective for us or for the city to have these two officers who are not sworn, but they will go to the academy to obtain arrest and use of force training, so that they're cognizant of what we need to do in order to get that done. And then they will be able to bring those individuals to the jail and book them themselves.
Not deputized.
They're not deputized, no, sir.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
I do have a statement, actually. So, is there like a final revision that we can get after today to make sure that all the numbers are accurate?
So would
Changes
the minutes would correct the record, right?
Yes, well, the minutes will have what we have here.
Okay.
The only change that I assume is under annual benefits per position where it says 25. I
Mhm.
believe it should be 55. Do
Mhm.
you have that number, Albert?
So what part are you talking about, the 55?
The second bulleted
The
item under
benefits?
CSO.
Okay, so the benefits, the increase is. Okay, so the benefits for the two CSO, it should be 156,000, and it's because it actually includes a lot of the additional costs that is not included in the original estimate. The cost would be for retirement. So there's an unfunded portion for the retirement when regarding CalPERS, and also the health benefits, post-employment benefit cost, and then internal service charge, which includes costs such as insurance. When we hire employees, we have to cover the cost of potential liability, workers' comp and whatnot. So the correction to the benefits would be about let's see, let's say about 50,000 per, almost 50,000 per position.
I have a follow-up for that. So if it's 50,000 we're thinking for annual benefits, how do we get to 156,000 then? 'Cause that's like another 50,000 over than your estimate that you're giving me right now.
I'm saying additional 50
Per.
per position. So it's about 100,000. So original estimate from the original staff report was 492,000, and we're bringing it up to 607. So that would be the 100,000.
Yeah, specific to the benefits, what we had in the previously revised report that was published. Let's see. Let's see. So in The staff report of April 8 for benefits, we had 51,000 for the two positions. And revision number 1. Let me see. Revision number 1, we had, I think we might have still had 51,000.
I think what she's asking is, you know, when we look at 146,664, you broke it down per position, but we were just wondering what it was for the benefits since the 25,679 is not accurate.
So in that case, yes, you're right. So that would be 156 divided by 2, so that would be 78,000 per position. So good catch, Sasha. We didn't revise the unit cost. We revised the total, but did not revise the unit cost. So that's the point you made, correct, Shirley, that the unit cost needs to be revised as well.
It needs to be revised to 78,043. If you divided the 156,086. And again, the 156 is the benefits with all the information that Albert mentioned regarding the retirement, and it's a whole cost.
Any other questions or comments? So I do have one actually. So the 302 though, that could increase every year after the second year, correct? Based on, I don't know, things that go up.
So salaries will be recurring every year, plus escalation, because we do not know. The proposal here is for this to be effective in the upcoming fiscal year 25-26. There is a COLA that will kick in on July 1st, but this should already be inclusive of that COLA. So the following year, 26-27, there is a COLA that's already contracted or by agreement of 3%. The years thereafter, we do not know what those will be, but the understanding is that it'll be a recurring annual cost for salaries and benefits plus escalation,
If we approve it.
which would be COLA once that is known. But we only know this upcoming year and then 26-27.
So in essence, we would have to leave it open, so to speak.
Only to the extent that there's an escalation. But, you know, yes, it's recurring. But you asked us to come back to you
Right.
every year, which we will do. Even when I'm retired, Nguyen, I will come back.
And that was my next question is it going to be recurring? Because I think that's what we had asked for it to be presented again every year. So that way we know the impact that or the benefits of having the CSOs.
As I remember, I think last month we talked, we asked for the data for the statistic to use as the benchmark to compare for next year. Do we have that?
The escalation?
No, for like the crime datas, so that we can use as a benchmark to compare for next year to see whether or not this program actually helps deter crime.
Yes. No, you directed us to present you with the status report. The question was from Chair Lara, which, you know, whether you could make your approval conditional, and the answer was no, because, you know, then we would have to disclose to the employee that, you know, this is only on an annual basis, and then that we wouldn't be able to recruit folks. So you made the approval for recurring, with the caveat that we report to you on a status progress at least once a year, if not twice a year.
No, but I think I had asked if we just could get an idea of what the calls look like, not recently, currently. And I don't know, I think when I asked, I didn't know if there was a way to look at that.
Request for service.
Just what it looks like right now as far as, maybe I'm not verbalizing this.
I think you're saying the volumes of the
Right.
calls, the average, certain hours, hot hours, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, Chief and Manny, I mean, certainly for the kinds of issues that surface at a park, you know, whether it's the staff from RCS calling for assistance or just the dispatch when they receive the calls, obviously that happens now. The question is how much of it and the frequency so that you can compare once the officers are in place to be able to show the progress.
Yeah, in short, a crime stats or from criminals or something, that we can compare or see, have an idea of what it is right now compared to a year from now. Is it significantly changed or not? That,
Great point. So I think establishing the baseline, Chief, which I think would be obviously with your monthly crime stats, you establish the baseline before the officers are brought on board and then compare once they're deployed.
Right, we can provide the number of calls for service for all park related incidents. And then we can take a look at it a year from now to see the decrease or increase, if there is an increase of calls for service at the location. However, calls for service could be a location check. So our officers do location checks, and that would be a call for service that we'd have to separate. But we would, to your point, we would be able to give statistic relative to the amount of crime that is occurring at the parks.
And I think it would even be beneficial to even big picture, right? Because if they're handling what's within their scope, then that means our officers are handling other situations in a much like quicker,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes.
So I think even just showing that bigger picture of that, you know, it's not just what these individuals will be doing, but how that allows our officers then to take care of more egregious or just time-sensitive matters. Because I think all of that feeds into the safety of the community.
Correct. And I would be able to look at the calls for service and response time that we're working on. So that would also be a benefit to the community as well as our response time.
And I think it's important to clarify that they're not just going to be at the parks. That was one of the locations that was in high need and request from the community. But they will be doing other things. So only
Yes.
because I heard, you know, parks and we keep mentioning parks, I want to make sure that everyone's clear that they're not just for the parks.
They will be in the field. I doubt if I'll ever have them in the station unless we have some type of a crime report that they can handle at the station. So if somebody comes in and wants to do a nonviolent crime report, we could take care of that as opposed to calling in an officer to do that. So the ability to have CSOs to do those reports is beneficial to the department, beneficial to the community, because again, our calls for service or a response time would be much better.
I just wanted to go ahead.
No.
I just want to, again, just make a comment because I do ride along with the police department and go to the parks, and there are different stops, and we have in different stops, there's another call and we have to go somewhere else. And then the last one we were at Morgan Park. And there was another call. So it is a constant going. You may see idle time, but there's times that zip, you know, and like I tell the officer, you know, I have a certain time that I ride. I say, if you're busy, I'm busy too. But when you get unbusy, then my ride's over. You know, but it is a constant going.
Okay, so then I guess Would it be a roll call vote? Shirley? Okay. Can I get a roll call vote? Oh. Can I get a motion for approval on the CSOs?
I make a motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
We have a first and a second.
Yes.
Member Hernandez,
Yes.
member Marta Carcamo,
Yes.
member Orozco,
Yes.
member Rodriguez,
Yes.
member Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jackson,
Yes.
Chair Lara,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, now we'll move on to item number 2, which is an update on the status of the sports complex. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was one whole vote, right?
You call it the CSO package, which, I inferred that you meant the entire
we'll-
report.
Yes.
So yes, so you voted for the entire,
It's just to clarify for the entire package.
yes.
Okay, so item number 2, update on the status of the sports complex development.
So we have some breaking news in this status report of sorts. Just prior to this meeting, we convened a group of sport organization leaders in the city, from Little League to softball to judo to soccer, with the idea of engaging with what the division of the sports complex can begin to take shape in real terms. And we had a very good development in our conversation with the school district with regards to what they would be open to entertain now as opposed to later. And that included going to Olive Middle School, which already houses a soccer field. It houses a little league. The soccer field is a brand new complex, a brand new development, just 2 years old. The baseball fields, the little league that is housed at Olive Middle School is Upland National. And those fields are aged. They're not as well taken care of, but they're there. And kids play there, both baseball and softball. But the tour included us coming in to the complex from the backside of the site, as opposed to from the front, if you will. And as we came in from the backside, which, you come up through this maintenance road and you start approaching the fields, and if you've been to the complex, you would know what I'm talking about. But I'd never been to the backside of the complex. And as we're driving up to get closer to the baseball fields, I see this vast real estate, and I'm speaking somewhat in relative terms because, vast could be like a huge area, but pretty big. Grass, open space, and then the baseball fields. And we stopped there to look at, the opportunities, and I call it a moment of epiphany, because when we were conversing and on the tour were Manny, Mayor Pro Tem Damian, myself for the city, and Superintendent Froilan Mendoza and Mark Chaldu, who's the assistant superintendent. So it was the 5 of us and the head janitor at the middle school, Sergio. Anyway, and so we're visualizing and we're talking just, our own ideas of what could happen, what could be possible. And I think all of us, well, for sure, I know I experienced this, I call it an epiphany. I said, my goodness, yes, this is the place that have been talking about from the time we went on those tours, from, taking the best of each of the locations that we visited, articulating our dreams, expressing our aspirations. And we realized, boy, this is definitely worth picking up and going on a sales mission. So part of that including convening the leaders of the sports organizations so that we could run these ideas by them at this early stage, considering that, there's the soccer field there's the little league that, could potentially be displaced temporarily. So we met with them earlier, just literally just before this meeting. Chair Lara and Vice Chair Pastor Jackson were in the meeting. 5 or 6 organizations. Board member Orozco actually was wearing a different hat in that meeting because he was representing the judo and tough kids, but in general the martial arts industry. Very, very good, candid discussion. With regards to concerns and opportunities that the leaders, there's still a very strong sense of self-identity with regards to the different regions. The east side, the national, which represents, maybe the north side of the city, and then the American, which represents the west side of the city. But after almost 2 hours of discussion, the general consensus was that they support this being a development that needs to be given, traction. Their desire would be that there be an additional location with more fields, whether it's one of the other schools or not. So that would be their optimal desire, that we would have not just Olive, but one other location with more fields. It could be Elwyn, it could be Pleasant View, but Elwyn was mentioned several times. But they were agreeable for this process to continue and carry on. So the next milestone will be a meeting of the collaborative, which includes 2 council members and 2 members of the school board. And that's next week on Tuesday, on the 20th, next week. And so that meeting will be called, and we'll provide an update to the school board. Ideally, the kind of direction we will be seeking is that both bodies of the collaborative direct our respective staffs to bring the full matter to the full council and their full school board for general direction to negotiate some sort of agreement between the 2 organizations. So that's what we expect to bring out of the collaborative meeting next week. And if that happens, and then the full bodies approve us then negotiating a joint use agreement, now we're talking. This thing can really pick up momentum. I mean, I already feel it. Manny, Chair Lara and Pastor Jackson, please share your what you felt about the meeting earlier today.
I think they were excited, but I also sensed some doubt as far as, we've heard this before. But I do think even though it's not this vision, I think that we all had about this acres and acres of land, I think it is a good start. Like I said, it could set us for success in the sense of starting at a smaller scale to see what can be done and the response that we receive. I also think that being transparent throughout this whole time will maybe alleviate some of that doubt. But then I also feel like that transparency and involving the community could also be what we need to get more community members involved in the advocacy, not just with the city in terms of what that could look like, but also getting the district on board with other properties. Because I do think Olive is a good start, but I do think that we need more. Mr. Jackson?
I think it was a good meeting. And of course, you will always have your pros and cons about everything. You can satisfy some people, but you can't satisfy them all the time. But just to get it started, is a great process in doing that. And I think it's going to go, and we can just start small. We understand and realize that we don't have the space or the property that we really envision or want, but we deal with what we have, and I think it's going to go.
Any impressions you want to share?
Yes, sir. I do think it was a very productive meeting. A lot of questions. There's some responses that we are not quite sure of. We have a very good idea, but in general, we have to start somewhere. We are all professionals, and we definitely have the community's interest in our heart. So I believe crafting a sports complex at Olive School is in everyone's best interest. I believe the conceptual, it's merely a conceptual, has 3 ball fields. We might need 4. So everything is about a compromise. So we will take a closer look at that. And I am personally looking forward to having public engagement meetings with the community, because this facility will represent the needs of the community. So it will be designed by the community for the community. And I tend to think this might be the first of a few other facilities within the community. Thank you.
So it's definitely picking up in earnest. I feel the energy. I feel that to your point of Chair Lara, the process needing to be not just transparent but inclusive. And today was the manifestation of including the sports organizations. You know, they're not the only stakeholder, but they're an important stakeholder. You know, the general public, of course, that'll take community engagement meetings, and you know, we now have an engineer on board with our new director of public works. So when it comes to looking at parking and how wide the streets need to be, that kind of stuff, we should be able to have the benefit of that kind of technical support that we didn't have 2 months ago or 3 months ago. So, the next step will be this meeting with the collaborative. By no means is the final. It's only going to be directional, because, you know, we got to start at least crafting some terms of a joint use agreement, which in itself may take a whole year to work out. I mean, you know, you would think that if there's common purpose and common agreement and common ground, they shouldn't take that long. But, you know, it is the city and the school board and the school district talking, so I don't know. But this was one big, huge step, though.
Enrique, will that meeting be here? Is it a public?
No, so they're hosting it this time around. We alternate hosts. So the school, we hosted the first one in this most recent round. They'll host the one next week at the administration.
But it is open to the public?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, it's an
Yeah.
agenda size meeting.
Yeah, the agenda will get published this Thursday or Friday. I think the school district works on Friday, so they'll publish it on Friday.
Any questions or feedback?
Just got one question. Well, you just mentioned it, that we have a new public works person, Daniel. I live on Fairgrove with Elwyn Elementary School is, and my concern is about the parking lot space and for the safety of the kids, because that street, people, they use it like drag racing street. And I seen kids that for X reason, they throw the ball over the fence and then they don't look for the cars, even though we have speed bumps.
but it's still they're going too fast. And I did request speed bumps way before the school on the and the Little League Park, so to prevent cars from speeding because of that. And also, we had some residents that they were not too happy because they park in front of them. And the reason they used to tell me it was that a lot of people or parents, they like to throw the trash right there on the sidewalk. And there's something that I should mention to you guys, to see if we can solve that problem. If we ever choose the school on my street to be part of the sport complex. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item number 3, Measure BP Sales Tax Financial Update.
Committee members and members of the public. My name is Albert Trin. I'm the accounting manager, filling in for Rose Tam. So in terms of the revenue, the total amount of revenue that we received thus far is 15 million. It is an increase of about 549,000 from the last report. 519,000 is from the sales tax and 30,000 is from interest earned from the amount of money that we have set aside in the investment accounts. In terms of updating the expenditures, we have spent an additional 326,000 for the 11 police vehicles. We made some modifications to the police vehicles where we paid the aftermarket equipment some in the initial phase where it was not initially planned for, and this kind of created a savings of $45,000 in the 5-year term. And then there's a lease payment of 311,000 for the two-way radio. There was an increase of 14,000 that was paid out for the event programming and maintenance for Zocalo Park. We made the purchase of the senior bingo system, and that was completed. And lastly, we issued the grants with the 4 organizations thus far. So our projected fund balance as of April 30th, 2025 is $11 million. Thank you.
Enrique, I forgot, did we put because I know there's still money pending for the empowerment grants. Did we put a deadline for reimbursements?
We did, and so we had said that the money needed to be expended by the end of June of this year, and that a extension of up to 3 months could be granted upon request.
Okay, okay. And then I had another question because I heard the senior bingo system, that project was completed. So do we have that available balance of $8,000? Or is there something still
So,
pending?
I was just thinking as Albert was giving his update, so that when we do a closeout, for sure the machine is in use now. You guys were there to dedicate it. So we just got to make sure we'll look at the billing to make sure that all the billing is in, and then we'll close it out.
Now let's say, and this was my question, so let's say you close it out and it ended up being less, then that goes back into the fund?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
That's my questions.
Oh.
Chief, any update on the vehicles and the radios, where do they stand?
I believe they're almost done. I think we've got two left that we're waiting for to be built out. They're almost all here. So you'll see them out. All the Dodge Durangos are out there in the parking lot. And then and plus the Mach-E is also here too. So we should have just about everything done in the next couple months. It's just slow because everybody's buying cars at this point right now, and so we're waiting in line with everybody else and all the other departments that are purchasing vehicles and getting them outfitted.
And have they implemented the radios?
Yes, sir.
So far?
Yes, sir. We have all our radios. All our radios are here. I don't have mine, but I finally I waited to the last to get mine. I had the old one, but I waited for all the patrol officers to get theirs, and so everybody has theirs. We have enough for everybody. We also have enough for the CSOs.
Right, great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
Last week, they gave a display of the
radio?
the vehicle that
Oh.
the Cynthia has for her community service work.
She has the
Awesome.
mock, right? In the mock.
Awesome. Yes.
Anybody else?
Just a quick question, because there's a balance for the APX radio system. So what was spent was just to purchase it, but not to upgrade the whole system, or?
I believe there's a couple of invoices left to pay out, so I'll follow up on that and I'll get you an update on at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move on to item number 4, Stakeholders Oversight Committee, April 8th, 2025 meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
No motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Member Hernandez,
Yes.
Member Marta Cárcamo,
Yes.
Member Orozco,
Yes.
Member Rodriguez,
Yes.
Member Nguyen,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jackson,
Yes.
Chair Lara,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. Finally, we have the Stakeholders Oversight Committee / staff requests and communications. Is there anything anybody wishes to request at this point or any comments?
I'd like to bring up something here. Just recently, the funding for the youth programs here in Baldwin Park is funded by ARPA. And that fund has ran out for the year. Baseball starting now, softball starting, roadrunners, soccer, etc. The fund over the last years, we didn't use all the money at one point. I've been a kind of a big cheerleader of getting judo and soccer and baseball and definitely football and cheerleading to use the fund. And they did use all the fund out as of today or this month, I believe. The fund, correct me if I'm wrong, Manny, it's $20,000 to $30,000 in that point that we funded.
Yes, sir. That sounds about right. I believe it's about anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000. Thank you.
And it did, I know several people in the judo room that uses it. Probably 20 kids in my wrestling room use that fund for their program. It pays probably 70 to 80% of their tuition monthly, and it keeps the kids off the street, etc. I'd hate to see, I have some kids now that are wondering if they're going to be able to fund themselves for next month, etc. I'm wondering if we can motion or put it into play. I don't know how to do that, Enriquez, to
And
put a vote in or something to that
and
effect.
it since it's not listed on the agenda, we can't, have a full discussion, but you could ask for it to be brought back on a future meeting.
Okay.
Future, like in 2028.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
All right.
So I think you're asking for general direction
General
for
direction
for the SOC to give us, for the staff to bring back some proposal for for the funding that,
That ARP
ARPA.
funded the parks for youth
Okay.
programs and youth registration.
Okay.
So looking for direction how to do that for next meeting or
Yeah, you ask consensus from this, not a vote, but consensus, which could be just a nod. And then we will do that. We will bring back some, maybe first, a report that will tell you all the programs that are being funded by the ARPA fund. What the, well, maybe it's already depleted. You were thinking that it's already depleted, right?
correct. I spoke with Maria earlier and I spoke to her probably a week or two ago. She was saying that the fund was almost at the end and she confirmed today that it was depleted completely.
Okay, so we will give you a report that shows all of that, and then at that point, you can direct us to develop a request for funding.
Okay.
You just need to ask your
Okay.
fellows for consensus. That's it. As long as I
That-
see everybody nodding, we're good.
Could I get a consensus?
Okay.
To look in the ARP funding for the youth programs.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's fine. I just do appreciate you adding that context to it, because like for someone like me that doesn't have all that knowledge, that the detail will be important.
And so that'll be the first deliverable from us. We'll bring you a report that gives you all the background.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay. So then our next SOC meeting is June 10th, 2025 at 5 p.m. This meeting is adjourned at 6:25 p.m. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
The judge's gavel.